Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we're talking love and marriage counsel. You guys know why you're here. Carlos King has emerged. Remember the missing milk carton on the previous video? The APB that we put out on Carlos King to address the elephant in the room, to address the Martell Instagram comment that is dragging Carlos King, that is dragging a show, calling everybody actors, calling out production, saying production is feeding people lines and telling Martell what to do and where to show up and how to behave and all of these things, and that he wanted Carlos to pull up and was adding him and telling him to contact him and saying that he can fire him for revealing this information, and that ultimately he wants his real life shown, right? Except for what real life is there to see, right? Because we're not going to be tuning in to see you, like I said, having booty calls with your mistress, right? So Carlos King finally addresses this, but he addresses this in Carlos King fashion. And that is on YouTube right before he is doing his review of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, you guys, on Bravo. Right? You should not be shocked. You should not be shocked at all. So the first 4 minutes of the video of his podcast review of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, he gets into this Martell stuff. He initially reads a comment from somebody that says, because you know how Carlos King, he films a lot of his shows. If it's not an in-person thing, he films pretty much in front of his closet that has like all of his shoes in the background. So somebody in the background was like, which one of these shoes are you going to have on when you kick Martell off the show? So Carlos King read that out loud, started laughing and everything else. And then also somebody else was in the comments because they thought that like the direction of the video was going to be all about Martell, and they're like, oh, well, we don't want to, have this energy and go in this direction and have the mood taken down. They were like all like freaking out within like the first couple of moments of the video. And, Carlos King, that's when he said he kept reiterating he is going to address Martell HOLT's comment on January 21st, which is 18 days from now, you guys. 18 days. And you would think that the reality TV king would know that when stuff like this goes viral, the first 72 hours are critical, you guys. If you're not going to respond within the first 72 hours, we're going to move on. We're going to move on because there's going to be something else that's going to be taking our attention, right? And so Carlos King says that he is going to address this on January 21st in his in-person podcast with Melody Shree in Huntsville, which I thought the podcast was supposed to be about Melody Shree, not Martell. Make it make sense, you guys. So then he says, don't get mad at me because your reality isn't what you want it to be. I'm not sure if he was shading fans or shading Martell with that. And then said basically that he felt away because he's like, I don't know why I'm getting blamed for somebody else's comments about something else and why they're mad at me. I'm busy working. And I was like, all right. I was like, okay. All right. What are we supposed to do at this point? Right? Carlos King, let's just call it what it is. Carlos King doesn't care about the show. He does not care about the show. Because if he did, he would have laid down the law and said something within the first 24 to 48 hours, you guys. He doesn't care. And once again, he is using Melody Shree to push Martell. Same thing he did when he announced this tour. Somehow he kept throwing in questions, kept throwing in comments about Martell. If this truly is supposed to be about Melody Shree, make it about Melody Shree. If you want an interview with Martell, if you want to talk about Martell, then talk to Martell. Have a sit down with Martell. But this was supposed to be a, sit down with Melody Shree, a no holds bar with Melody Shree to really talk about things that she has going on, to talk about things that is not being aired on the show. when she's not being set up for these stupid scenes with her ex-husband, which is not normal, right? Because you can look at any of these housewife shows that are on Bravo that you constantly review, and even Married to Medicine, right? The husbands, once you are going through the divorce proceedings, they rarely film with their ex-wives, because 9 times out of 10, the divorce is on bad terms. Now, you will see instances such as Peter Thomas. He'll come back and film scenes with Nene, but you don't see him in any scenes with Cynthia. You see what I'm saying? Once that divorce happens, whether it's a housewife show or love and marriage show, that is it. The husband is gone. The husband is MIA as far as, constantly having to be thrown in the wife's face. And it's even more traumatic because this is an ex-husband who is trying to have revenge pee against his ex-wife, who is tormenting his ex-wife, who is, having all of these scary and, frightening tantrums to the point that his ex-wife has to have security. It's beyond a toxic environment at this point, a toxic work environment. I mean, people's safety are at jeopardy here. People's livelihood are in jeopardy here. So this is not a situation where we can just wait 3 weeks for you to address Martell Holt's comment. No. And the biggest thing is, what do we have starting Saturday, you guys? The reunion part 1 that should have been a couple weeks ago. But we have the reunion part 1 for Love and Marriage Huntsville season 6. And that is going to take us to, January 20th, I believe, is going to be, I presume, the third part of the reunion, right? So what are we going to be talking about, do you think, the next 18 days? We're not going to be talking about Martell's comment, right? We're going to be discussing what we saw on the reunion, and we are going to dissect which cast members come out and say X, Y, and Z was taken out of the reunion, or this scene was filmed out of context because I was really saying this person and not that person, but they edited it to make it look like I was saying it to this person, and blah, 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 blah. Right? That's what we're going to be talking about for the next 3 weeks. We're not going to be talking about Martell's comment anymore unless we see, similar behavior at, whether it's like, part 2 or part 3 of the reunion that validates this comment that he's making, right? That we can kind of deduce from there, okay, maybe he's done with the show. Maybe this is it. Right? But unless there is nothing that we see from Martell that gives any, indication to what his post was about, we're not going to talk about it. But I just hate that once again, Carlos King, every time he wants the millimeters to pull up for Melody Cherie, he finds ways to insert Martell. So now the question becomes, is Martell really fired from the show? Because if it's open and shut, it should just be an easy thing to where you could at least give a hint at this point and be like, nobody's going to be a part of my show that's insulting production, that is, trying to say my show is fake, trying to question the integrity of the show, and all of these things. This is your brand, Carlos King. You're the professed reality TV king. You know how this works. You've built your legacy on being executive producers for all these shows and creating a variety of different reality shows that we get to see different women in their careers and their professions and their marriages and so forth, and raising children and everything. But you literally have somebody who is saying that what is supposed to be an unscripted reality show that's supposed to be showing people's reality isn't real, and that he's an actor, allegedly. But if the cast is actors, especially Martell, he needs a Razzie Award, because he's not convincing me as an actor, and that would explain why he has 0 roles on any other acting platform. He needs to go to acting classes if he's seriously an actor, because his acting, he can't act for anything. His mask always slips every time. Every time he is trying to be fake and pretending to be a good guy, it doesn't last. He always has an outburst. He cannot, keep it cute, keep it mute for anything. He always has to go on a tantrum because he thinks that the only way he can respond, because he's mad that Melody Cherie dared leave him for good, and he's the one who's broke. He's the one who's struggling. He's the one that needs Melody Cherie for relevance. And all he knows how to do, instead of trying to find ways to co-parent and get along, he's trying to find ways to humiliate her and make her life an HELL. And that's not going to cut it. So, no, we don't have time to wait 3 weeks. I have no idea why Carlos King wants to drag this out for, suspense and anticipation and all these things. I have no clue. We're going to be high off of the reunion, right? And like I said, unless Martell does something at the reunion that gives any type of validity or credence to any of the comments that he made in that post is one thing. But Martell is just unhinged anyways, right? So we're going to be, dissecting whoever he loses it on, unless, again, he's protected by production and they don't show the real Martell. Right? Because that's always a possibility. That's always on the table as well. They'll still give Martell this glowing edit no matter how awful he is to people. We never see the worst of it. We never see the raw footage of who Martell truly is. And why he still gets protected. And why he still gets defended. And why you continue to give him all these opportunities to make his image look better. And, try to make him happen. And he still, every time, has his mask slip. And still goes on tangents. Still is, treating his ex-wife like crap. And not being a man and properly raising his kids. Not even being able to afford to feed his own kids. Trying to sue his ex-wife and get access to her money. Trying to get sole custody so that he can get access to the former life that his ex-wife provided for him. No. We need to discuss this now, Carlos. You don't have to break any contracts by saying, whether or not Martell is fired, but you can at least give us a reaction. The fact that you're just giving us no reaction is weird. And telling us we need to wait 3 weeks. That you're basically going to utilize Melody Cherie. There's supposed to be a platform about her. There's supposed to be an audience full of millimeters and her supporters that, some may live in Huntsville. Some may be traveling from all over the U.S. to, see Melody Cherie in person. And they're going to have to sit there and listen to you do this whole, make this about yourself. And, take, 20 minutes to discuss, what you think of Martell's comment when you already have a platform to do it now. What's the delay? I just don't understand. I just don't understand Carlos King's thought process and once again continues to insert Martell into everything as it pertains to Melody Cherie. They're not together anymore. And it's a toxic situation. It's a scary situation. And even Melody Cherie said to these people, stop bringing up her ex-husband. And once again, you're bringing up her ex-husband. Who wants to deal with that 24/7? I don't understand the logic. And at this point, it's intentional. At this point, you have to ask the question, you just simply like chaos, and you don't care how bad it is. You don't care about somebody having to be traumatized and upset to the point they were thinking of quitting their own show because of how destructive and unhinged their ex-husband is. And how he rallied the cast to bully his ex-wife and isolate his ex-wife from her own show and made her the issue. Meanwhile, he is doing all these schemes behind the scenes, trying to find ways to destroy his ex-wife. And not one person had her back from the cast. And they all just sat there and watched. They all piggybacked off of all the drama and even started to feed into Martell's delusions and lies. So no, we need a response now. You have time to do reviews on all these Bravo shows. You have time to promote Bell Collective. You have time to promote Love and Marriage DC that's taking forever to come back. You have time to do all this other stuff. But when it's critical things that are taking place with this show, you completely ignore it, as if nothing is happening, as if this show is not on fire. And people are tired. People are over it because it's the same thing. I don't know why, but it's the same thing on all of his shows. It gets to a point where, like I said, certain people are his favorites, and he wants to showcase those favorites no matter how problematic and trifling they are. He likes to put them on a platform, on a pedestal, instead of the actual good people that are a part of the ensemble cast, because it's supposed to be an ensemble show. No one person is bigger than the show. But once again, it is showing how protected Martell is by you not even addressing it. And that's a problem. That's an issue. And you waiting once again for a platform where you know you're going to have an audience, where you know you're going to have a lot of Mel supporters there, to continually bring up her ex-husband. Why? Get rid of the fantasy of wanting them back together. It's not going to happen. But also be cognizant of the fact of the toxicity that is taking place behind the scenes. Make it make sense. Not all drama is good drama, you guys. And especially with how unhinged Martell has been, this is not something that needs to be dragged out. This needs something that needs to be nipped in the bud. Which is why I'm 50-50 on whether or not actually anything's going to happen to Martell. Because if you're telling the people that you're going to drag this out for 3 weeks before you give a response, how am I supposed to believe any consequences are going to come Martell's way? Because if he's just getting another spanking and, told that that was out of line, but basically is going to come back and still has a contract to film season 7, what's the point? What was the point of dragging this out? Right? But this is what you do. You like to insert yourself at the wrong time, at the wrong moment. It's supposed to be about Melody Cherie. It's supposed to be about highlighting Melody Cherie and the impact that she and the fan base has had on the show. The viewership, the support for Melody Cherie, her taking off in all of her business endeavors as a result of the success of the show and her visibility being increased, to parlay that into other opportunities. And you want to waste this opportunity to talk about her ex-husband in front of the millimeters. Why? Why would you do that? Because really, if you have to bring up Martell, the only thing you need to ask Melody Cherie at that point in time is how their situation is. And then after that, there's really nothing else that needs to be discussed. Because we already know all the crap he's pulling behind the scenes. But this, again, this obsession with Martell, this crush on Martell, whatever this is, let it go. Let it go. Take a stand. Take a stand that you're not going to be here for, this type of mistreatment. And people just saying any old kind of thing and getting away with it. That's the type of ship you want to run. That's the type of environment that you want to continue to create. Which is why everybody is off the rails. Which is why everybody is running to various content creators and spilling tea and just not caring. And making up lies about other cast members just so that, somebody can take the bait and say it for clicks and views because they're pissed off that a cast member didn't, stay in line or stay with the family or lie for the family. But this whole thing, something has to change. And like I said, Love and Marriage Huntsville is at the bottom of Carlos King's totem pole, you guys. He does not care. Only thing, like I said, he cares about is that it's renewed for season 7, and that whenever he needs Melody Cherie and the Millimeters to stand on business and promote the show, they're available. But outside of that, we hear nothing about Love and Marriage Huntsville. Other than when Carlos King wants to also make himself known at these reunions. Right? And he's going to treat this sit down now with Melody Cherie like a reunion. And now make himself a cast member regarding this Martell thing. Which is not what I wanted. Which is why I wanted him to respond now. So that way it's out the way. of whatever, and we can focus on these reunion episodes, and we can focus on celebrating Melody Cherie at this event on January 21st. But instead, a portion of this event now is going to be devoted to Martell. And this is even separate from the Martell questions that Carlos King was already going to ask Melody Cherie anyways. So that's what I mean, is something has to give. You have somebody telling you they're sick of talking about their ex-husband. They don't want to film with their ex-husband because of all the toxicity, all of the negativity, all the things he's doing behind the scenes. They're telling you they almost walked away from the show because of how bad the bullying and the mistreatment got. And your response is to continue to force this same ex-husband upon her. Make it make sense, you guys. That is a very toxic and traumatic situation. And this woman has to have security around her whole family, because she doesn't know when, Martell is going to get the call to just pop up and cause drama and cause chaos. That's scary to live your life like that. And nobody wants to be, forced upon this too with these reality show cameras. It's not normal. They don't do this on Housewives. If you have a toxic ex-husband like this, they're not going to be showcased and featured and getting all the screen time. And they're not going to be able to just act any old kind of way on social media like this. This is beyond. Right? You literally have somebody that was trying to, distribute revenge pee to the cast. And trying to really sell that Mel is a cheater. And it was your own private, intimate videos with her. That's how diabolical and disgusting things are. And you want us to wait 3 weeks for you to respond to this guy. No. We're not going to care in 3 weeks. Well, I'm telling you, we're not. Because we're going to be dragging Martell for something else by then. So it's... I just don't understand. We're in a social media era where we all have short attention spans. If you do not answer and address something within, like I said, that 24 to 72 hour window, we've moved on to the next story. We've moved on to the next topic. We're going to be, talking about next whatever clips get dropped in advance before the reunion, part 1, to build buzz, to build anticipation. We're going to be talking about other stuff that's going on in Love and Marriage Huntsville. Like the stuff with Kiki. And just some other stuff that's taking place in these Huntsville streets. But you're trying to make this Martell thing about yourself. You're trying to build all this suspense when it's pretty open and shut. Either you don't care about his comments and he's sticking around no matter what, or you've laid down the law and there's going to be some consequences. There's going to be some changes for season 7. It's not rocket science, you guys. It's not rocket science. There's no smoking gun that we need to wait 3 weeks for. Right? I see it, like I said, this is why I said these people like to, use Melody Cherie for clicks and views. If you want to celebrate Melody Cherie, celebrate Melody Cherie. But don't have her fans paying, to see her and to see what they think is an interview that's supposed to be celebrating Melody Cherie. And now the mood's going to be brought down because you're going to spend the first 20 minutes talking about Martell's comment. And then you're going to keep inserting questions about Martell when Mel wants to talk about other stuff she's got going on. Make it make sense. Because it doesn't to me. So there's that. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.